Over one long weekend in London, a fortune in gold and diamonds vanished from a vault that was supposed to be impregnable. The thieves drilled through half a meter of solid concrete and emptied dozens of safe deposit boxes in the biggest burglary Britain had ever seen. And when police finally caught them, the country could hardly believe it. Because the gang behind the heist of a lifetime were all old men. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story: the Hatton Garden Heist. In the heart of London lies a narrow district called Hatton Garden. For centuries, it has been the center of the city's diamond and jewelry trade. Hundreds of dealers, jewelers, and traders work along its streets, and many of them stored their most precious goods in the same place. The Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company, an underground vault lined with safe deposit boxes behind a steel door 2 feet thick. For decades, it had kept its customers' fortunes safe. It was exactly the kind of place a thief would call impossible. But a small group of men had been watching it for a long time. And they were not your usual criminals. Most of them were retired. Veteran thieves, some in their 60s and 70s, with decades of crime behind them and not much to show for it. At the center was a man named Brian Reeder in his late 70s. A career criminal who had pulled off major jobs going back 40 years. Around him gathered the others. Old partners, familiar faces, men who, between them, had spent a lifetime learning how to break into places no one else could. They were aging, ailing, and easy to underestimate. One needed insulin injections. Another could barely climb stairs. And that was exactly their advantage. Their plan depended on a single, perfect window of time. The Easter holiday weekend of 2015. For 4 straight days, the offices above the vault would be closed and empty. No staff, no deliveries, no one to notice. On the Thursday evening, as London emptied out for the holiday, the gang made their move. They entered the building through a side door, dressed as workmen, hauling tools and equipment in wheelie bins in plain sight. Inside, they disabled the communal lift and used the empty shaft as their way down. One by one, these old men climbed down the lift shaft into the basement beside the vault. There they faced their greatest obstacle. The vault was half a meter of reinforced concrete, stronger than steel. To beat it, they had brought an industrial diamond-tipped drill, the kind used in heavy construction. Through the night, they drilled. 3 overlapping holes, side by side, boring slowly through the concrete. It was brutal, exhausting work. Dust filled the air. The noise was constant. And the men were not young. At last, they broke through and created a hole into the vault. A gap just 16 inches high and 10 inches wide. But on the other side, their plan hit a wall of its own. A heavy metal cabinet, bolted in place, blocked the hole from the inside. They pushed, they strained, but they could not move it. And for the first time, the great heist looked like it might fail. Defeated, exhausted, and arguing among themselves, the gang did something remarkable. They left and went home to rest. Some of the gang wanted to abandon the job entirely. But the others would not let it go. Not after coming so far. The next night they returned. This time with a different tool and a new plan to force their way past the cabinet. They squeezed a slim, agile member of the gang, a man known only as Basil, through the narrow hole and into the vault itself. And finally they were in, standing inside one of the most secure rooms in London. Around them, wall after wall of safe deposit boxes. The locked-away wealth of the Diamond District. Working quickly, they began to break the boxes open, prying and drilling through their metal doors. Box after box spilled open. Gold, diamonds, sapphires, bundles of cash, family heirlooms. They swept it all into bags. In total, they emptied around 70 of the boxes. The haul was staggering. An estimated 14 million pounds. They loaded the bags into their bins and bags, hauled them back up, and walked out of the building into the early morning. By the time the offices reopened after the holiday, the gang was long gone. And the scale of what they had done began to emerge. It was the largest burglary in English legal history. And at first, the police had almost nothing to go on. The thieves had been careful. They had avoided the cameras, worn gloves, and chosen the one weekend when no one was watching. But the men were from another era, and they did not understand just how much the world had changed. They had been caught on a camera across the street as they came and went, and police soon traced a car used on the night to a man named Kenny Collins. From there, the police did something the old thieves never expected. They listened. Detectives planted hidden microphones and followed the gang as they met in pubs and cafes, openly bragging about the job they had just pulled. They talked about the gold, about melting it down, about who got what. Every word recorded. One by one, the members of the gang were arrested. Most were in their 60s and 70s. The oldest, Brian Reeder, was 76. In court, they were given long prison sentences. For most of them at their age, it would mean spending their final years behind bars. But here is the part that still stings for everyone but the thieves. The vast majority of the treasure was never found. Of the millions in gold and gems, only a fraction was ever recovered. The rest had vanished, melted down, hidden or buried, somewhere only the gang knew. And the elusive Basil, the slim man who slipped through the hole, stayed free for years, before he too was finally caught. It was a heist out of a film. A gang of aging thieves, one last impossible job, and a fortune that, to this day, has never fully been found.